Point lost.
I'm here to serve.
Ladies and gentlemen, here we are in our first game of the semifinals for our King of the World launch tournament. We are going to have Webster1664 stepping in for mybloodhurts because unfortunately mybloodhurts had to go to work, leaving that money on the table. So we're going to see Webster on the white team, and we're going to see bratrstvoNODKane on the red team. I'm definitely not saying that right, so I'm just going to call him Kane for short. So it's going to be Webster on white, Kane on red. And we see Webster. Before turn one, both players, one region, 6 gold. That's what we like to see. Getting that strong start and even swapping out his soldier for the mortar. Look at this, folks. Both getting that free banner unit at the start of turn 2. Middle East map once again. We're going to see Webster using his mortars to outrange this tower. And we see a big chunk of red over here in the west. We're going to see Kane want to get himself this Damashq region, which I am quite a fan of because of all the choke points around here. And again, we're going to see, it looks like both players like the style of selecting multiple little footholds that they have. See Webster over here to the east. Probably going to spread from here either north, or I think he's going to jump to another region. He's still got this one tower up here. And he's got a couple down here in the south that he can connect. Or better yet, he could just go here, take Dakar, and then move east. Start of turn 3. Webster slight advantage. 9 gold to the 6 that Kane has. But that's a-okay. 3 gold. Not that big of a difference because my guess is that by the end of turn 4, by the start of turn 4, that will normalize somewhat. Webster using these mortars, taking a page out of the playbook that I have discovered. Can't take sole credit. But this is what I like to see. You use that one mortar. You can outrange. So he spent 6 gold on these 2 units together. 6 total. And he's not had to spend any more gold except 1 gold per tower he takes to move these soldiers in. And now if you want to get really advanced, you can start using these banner units instead of even building soldiers. But hey, man, that's fine. Continuing to move eastward, Webster is. Start of turn 4, and what did I say? Our units would be normalized. 11 to 11, 3 regions aside. Now it's just a question of who has the better position. If I were either of these players, I would rather be Kane. I like having these, sort of more closed-off regions like this. Although I will say that Webster does have a nice position here in Kurdistan, moving down into Kermanshah. But Kane, continuing his reign in the northwest, he had abandoned his units down here for a bit. It looks like we're starting to see the 2 of these poking at each other. And now look at this. Webster, 1 forward tower, just using it to produce units. And Webster walks right into the tower range. He doesn't care because he knows he's got more units, and he should win this fight if he micros it, but I guess not. No. Those mortars, there's only 3 of them, but they are doing work. Down go all of Webster's units. Such waste. We see the trash talk coming from Kane. Holy cow. The all chat. Webster instead withdrawing to the northeast. And again, the interesting thing is that he only spent probably 1 turn's worth of income down there on that 1 tower. And now Kane has these units with which he can push outwards. I would have loved to have seen Webster maybe not engage in that so hard. I guess if he wanted to take out all 4 of these towers in the middle, that would have been one thing. But instead, he just spends the gold, and it just goes down the drain. We're going to see Webster moving south as we close in on the end of turn 5. Mortars doing the work, taking the tower. Can he get West RR? This is going to be close. But if he does not, then we're going to wind up seeing 19 gold for Webster and 14 for Kane. And he will not, unfortunately. Oh, yes, he will. Holy cow, coming in right by the skin of his teeth. Barely gets that. So 19-19. Continuing the stalemate. And now we're going to see Webster maybe start to get aggressive here. He's got a handful of mortars. And we're going to see, yes, he does decide, Kane does, to defend Derazar. At the same time, moving this red blob down here in the south, East RR, also seeing some action. And we're going to see Kane pushing these mortars back for Webster. Webster falling into these cavalry, or I'm sorry, these knights that he likes so much. We will see if they will be effective. Now, the cavalry are really good knights. Gosh. No, they are cavalry. I'm fooling myself. Cavalry. Cavalry are very effective at getting in on these back lines and taking out these mortars, taking out medics. But unfortunately, they're not super tanky. So I don't think this is the right play for Webster. He can't just let them take the attacks from the soldiers. What he needs to do is move his own soldiers in to engage with their soldiers so that their auto attack is going to target the cavalry first. And now we see some cavalry coming out for Kane as well. So pretty even force-wise. I would say edge goes to Kane here. He does have a few more units. Although this micro from Webster is really good. He's just going in, let his mortars fire once, and then back off. I think it's the right play. And now what Webster's really good at is while he's making this engagement, or this type of engagement, I should say, he's really good at pushing out from these other towers we've seen. So we will see. We're going to keep an eye on our mini-map to see if he starts doing that. But for the moment, looks like he's just going to lose some mortars here. This guy, will he go down? He will not. He's going to survive. Soldiers go down, though. Mortars are probably next. Salahuddin is going to fall. It's only a matter of time. Unless, of course, I guess Kane doesn't want it. He's just going to pull back. Will that? No, the cavalry will live. Just a sliver of HP, but he manages to hold on. Again, this is what we've seen time and time again, is there's usually one front where the battle continues happening and two sides just go back and forth over and over on it. And we see once again Kane trying to push in. He's got his 4 cavalry. He's got a handful of mortars, a handful of soldiers. And it looks like that's actually going to wind up being the right composition, because with Webster going almost entirely all into soldiers, only it looks like 3 mortars back there. He's, just going to be able to outrange him. These soldiers on the front lines will get chewed up pretty quickly because there are more soldiers on the side of Webster, but it's not going to look good for Webster. This engagement is going to be a costly one as Webster loses all of his units. Turn just ticked over, so Webster going to have some fresh gold to spend. And we will see how much he wants to invest here. No, he's just going to let it fall. Salahuddin is going to go the way of Kane. But we see more units making a long trek. Now again, this seems out of character for Webster. He's building units here to continue trying to defend this, but he's outmanned. He's outgunned. But this is what we want to see from Webster. More of this split pushing around the map, taking more towers as the engagement is going on elsewhere. He lost Salahuddin, and he's sort of getting into a dangerous point where Kane has a really healthy chunk of the map and just continuing to move eastward. See these banner units just standing there, not doing anything. Only firing because of the auto attack. Webster, not great at managing his bannermen. It looks like he's going to lose Suleimania as well. There it goes. So now as we cross over into turn 10, let's take a look at the scoreboard. We've got Webster making 19 gold per turn, with Kane,
you are under
healthy
attack.
31 gold. Got to be feeling good about himself there. And just so everybody knows, this scoreboard is available to all players. Anyone can see this at any time. And again, Zontakor, in case anyone was wondering, Zontakor is just the host here. And myself, though I am on the scoreboard, am not actually playing. So Kane comes out of that engagement on top and able to continue moving his army across the map. Watching for Webster to make some sort of tricky move. He does have this nice chunk of white. And he may head southward with this to try to take Suleimania back. I'm sorry, Salahuddin. Suleimania is to the east. Excuse me, I don't know my geography. Kane, just no mercy. Continuing his reign. Taking more and more regions. But now this is going to be very interesting. I want to see how Kane reacts to this. We see a few units being produced, and they are coming in. How heavily does he invest into this? And what is Webster's play? Where's his setup? He does this at the same time he's moving a tank. He's got a tank, and what is that, 1 mortar? And he's moving this in. Is he going to try to strike at the back lines? It looks like he is. We see Kane microing these units over here. He's going to get caught entirely unaware. Look at that. That tank does so much damage that it's able to take out a tower so quickly. And now this mortar is just going to sit on the tower and keep firing. Wow. Kane continuing to micro in the east. Perhaps not realizing he's losing territory at home. And now with that, Kane down to just 31 gold per turn. But Webster not in a great position, making 18. But again, that's a heavy investment to make that tank. Turn ticks over. We're now on turn 12. He can produce another soldier, pull this tank off. But Kane, man, I feel like he's just on the warpath here. He's going to strike back at this northeast stronghold of Webster. And this is great. Webster's managing to produce units here to try to keep these guys repelled. He's going to lose this tower if he doesn't get someone in range. He's just going to let it go. What's his strategy? He's just going to leave that tank there, I guess. I was really hoping to see some more interesting movement from that on the back lines. Trading towers is A-okay, in my humblest of opinions. Don't see any really big chunks of white. Kane paying very good attention. Continuing pushing forward. Pushing north. He's going to try to strike into West Azerbaijan. Question is what he's going to do with it. Does Webster have a plan? Because if not, he's pretty quickly falling onto the back ropes here. This may be the death throes. Taking all these towers in West Azerbaijan. Kane calling the offensive GG. We will see if Webster agrees. But here we are in turn 13. Webster with 15 gold per turn. Kane 38. That's about to go up. It's about to be 41. There it is. Webster, what's your play? Here we go. We see some movement here in the west. Tank moving out. Taking damage. Taking names. Now again, this tank can pretty quickly cut through this. You saw how quickly it kills those soldier units. We see another red chunk moving across the east. Continuing to move out from that corner. Looks like Webster's pretty content to lose most of these towers. Kane making a heavy investment here. I think he wants to get this tank out of his back lines. But these units are dying as quickly as they're being produced, and the tank, with a big chunk of HP. Generally one shot, one kill. Is this going to be enough damage to the economy? I don't know that it will. Kane continuing to move and take towers. Closing in on turn 15 here. Webster still with a few armies moving around. Still got a few towers, but we see a lot of red on this map. Tank taking damage. Going down. Kane able to pretty easily take back Damashq. Webster calls the GG. There it is, just before turn 15. Kane with 17 regions. Webster with only 4. Realizes when he's licked. So, shout-outs to Webster. Managed to get second life in this tournament as someone had to go to work. Webster stepped in for him. So we will see Kane moving on into the finals. He's guaranteed himself at least a $25 prize. And we're going to jump over to the other side of the bracket and see who his opponent will be. Stay tuned, guys. We'll see you in a minute.